can't remember what the first sort of car video that was posted on my channel was. Well, there has been an engine that's come up on Facebook Marketplace.
Right. Just better hope that it doesn't. Okay. I enjoyed my previous interview with Callum so much that I thought we should maybe make it a regular occurrence. So today I'm here with Aiden.
Hello, people.
Some of you will know Aiden from his own channel. I think it's fair to say that we definitely share like the same niche within cars,
Aye.
like little 90s shitboxes.
Retro stuff, aye.
But being local to each other, I thought it was fairly inevitable we'd end up collaborating in some way.
Okay.
But if I'm honest, don't really know much about you. You don't know much about me.
We've
We've only kind of bumped into each other.
Car shows, eh?
Yeah, so
Pretty much it.
thought you'd all be interested to hear a little bit of background about Aiden, because most of you will know him. So thanks for joining me.
No worries.
So we jump straight into it. How old are you? How long have you been driving?
I'm 19 and I've been driving since I was 17, so I passed my test on the 22nd of February 2022, so all the twos. So, aye.
So you're younger than me and you passed before.
Aye, I was lucky, but interesting actually. On my birthday, I went and done my theory test, which was, I think it was on the Monday that year or something. And then on the Friday that week, I went and tried to take my practical test without any lessons, because it was really hard to get a test at that time. So I thought I'd just pass my test without learning anything. So I tried it. It almost worked actually. I only failed on one thing.
Oh, that's not bad.
I forgot to stop at a stop sign.
It's like the one thing that they drill into you as well.
So I've actually took my test twice, but not really, if you count after lessons. But aye, so there's a wee quite interesting.
So what's your background with cars, and like how did you get into cars? I know you mentioned like your dad's into stock cars and stuff.
So I think when I was probably 5, my mum and dad took me to Cows and Beef Racewell, which is a stock car track in Fife. You've got Loch Galloway as well, but that wasn't there at that point. So I got taken there, taken to Knockhill and stuff, just when I was younger. And then obviously I've been brought up around cars. And it's just been an interest ever since I could sort of get into them.
How long have you been into cars, do you reckon? Like, if you can think back that far.
Well, I was properly into my football, probably about like 9 to like 14 or something.
That's interesting, because I'd skipped that stage entirely. Never been into football.
But I was still into cars, but football sort of took over because we were going everywhere to play games and stuff. But
it's hard not to get into football being in Scotland.
Well, that's like every dad. Get the lad playing football and all that. But so football for a while. But cars were always sort of in the background. Always watched Lightning McQueen and all that when I was growing up.
I think that was where it all started for everyone, was cars.
And then obviously Top Gear as well. That's a massive part of it.
Hard to avoid growing up in Britain, I think.
Aye. But then I sort of just fell out of love with football after a few things happened. So then cars sort of came back about, gone to the stock car racing again and stuff. And then my dad actually started racing in 2019. So ever since then it's been...
Has he been doing it ever since, yeah?
Aye, pretty much.
Awesome. So
quite a while now.
It's a proper chance to get like hands-on with it as well, especially if you're part of the family.
We've not got a proper garage with that. We do everything for the back garden, for the stock cars, so we're learning how to work on it ourselves and stuff.
I'm not too familiar with the stock cars at all, but what like kind of division does he race in? So
we race in Pro Stock Basics, which is meant to be the most budget-friendly formula at Cannonball Beef, but it's getting a bit more expensive now, so it's sort of any car that's up to a 1.4 litre engine.
All right.
So the most popular car is sort of a Mark 6 Fiesta. But me and my dad both race a Mark 4 Fiesta, so sort of 99, 2000 age. But they're brilliant cars.
Yeah.
And they seem to go around quite well. But
readily available as well in comparison to like.
That's it. But
the old ones.
The car that my dad started out with was a Peugeot 206 that had been abandoned in some farm. It got us to the track, and I think we had it for 2 years or something, and then he got a 207, and then it's been Ford since then, because they seem to be the car that's dominating the formula.
Yeah, I think so.
Aye.
Changing the subject entirely, what do you do for a living?
Well, I was spray painting for a living. I've went through my full apprenticeship with doing that. That's how I've managed to get the Escort done.
So you're qualified painter?
Yeah, got all my papers and stuff. But I've actually left now, and I'm just going to keep trying to do stuff for my YouTube channel and my TikTok and stuff. Keep building that up while doing a bit of spray painting on the side and doing car detailing. So
bit of everything, really.
Aye, anything to do with cars I'm into.
Yeah. So was spray painting something you always wanted to do, or did it come about because of like the stock cars and being into cars in general?
It didn't even come for that, to be fair. This is going
to be like a reoccurring thing.
But it didn't even come about for anything to do with cars. We had our work experience for high school.
Yeah.
Basically, a guy that my dad was pals with worked in a body shop, and then I went there for the week because like I was sort of running out of time to get a place for going for the work experience week.
Got you.
So I went there last minute, and then I started going every Saturday, working every Saturday there for a couple of years, and then just was there ever since until now.
Fair enough. So was there anything you kind of specialised in while you were painting? Was it old stuff or
It was a bit of everything. We didn't really get as much insurance work, but we got loads of supercars and stuff. But
Really?
my favourite stuff to work on was the older stuff.
Yeah.
Because it's easy to strip down.
A lot more simple as well, paint-wise.
I think it's more rewarding as well once the job's finished, because you're keeping an old thing on the road.
So how long were you doing it? What? Just straight out of school?
15
Really?
to now, aye. So
Awesome.
pretty much 5 years, really.
How long was the apprenticeship?
3 years at college, and then you do a year's time served at your company.
Got you.
But aye.
So with the kind of YouTube stuff, the car detailing considered, where do you see yourself like in the future, maybe 5-10 years?
That is everybody says it, but it's a hard question.
Especially on the spot.
Aye, I don't know. Hopefully doing this sort of stuff still. I'd love to just do YouTube, any social media full time, as long as it's for cars. I don't think I'd have as much passion or interest for anything else except for cars. So aye, filming cars or doing something around cars, that would be the dream.
So moving on to a bit of car history, was the Escort your first car? No.
See, this is the thing. It was meant to be my first car for driving. And then we done some insurance checks on it, and it was very expensive to insure.
Yeah.
I think they wanted $3,500 the first time I tried to insure it.
Such an issue for like anyone our age as well.
It is. So we never went for that. So I ended up getting a Market Fiesta. And that's been great ever since, but that's always been in the background. And then last year, obviously, managed to get the respray done on it.
So that's what, 3 years you've had it ish?
I'll be coming up 5 probably. Really? No, probably 4. We got it in December 2020.
Got you.
So quite a while.
Cool. Where'd you get it from? And you tell us a bit about the story, like how you ended up with it.
Yeah. So December 2020, we were on lockdown. So it was a completely different time.
Oh,
and
don't remind me.
My dad had a Mark 2.5 MX5. We had that for a few months. I don't know why we bought that. We just had it. It was good fun. And then one night my dad was searching on eBay on the auctions, just looking at any sort of old Ford. This popped up down in Mansfield in England for, I think the bid was at £900, and it didn't have long left. I can't even remember exactly how long was left. But we ended up getting it for £945.
Not bad.
Bargain.
Was that on the road or?
It was. Well, we trailered it back up.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't drive obviously, but I can't mind. It probably had MOT. It probably did, but it didn't look like this. It had the plastic bumpers, plastic wheel trims and all that. So it's proper standard. But we went down south. I think it just on a weekend or something. Went and got it. But it was a bit dodgy we going down south because you weren't really meant to go out your country.
I had the same with my first car. Couldn't go to see it.
Aye, but that's where that came from.
So you had the Escort, the Mark 8, anything else in between, and then you've got the Mark 5 recently.
Don't know. I've had a Nissan Micra as well. We had the K11 Micra.
So is that gone now, or have you still?
That's gone. I sold it to a guy up in Dundee.
Really?
So hopefully it's still on the road. I mean, it's got MOT, so hopefully it stays on the road. But we had the Marlboro front end on it and stuff, like the cigarettes. So it's quite cool. Never really done much to that car. Not as much as I wanted to, but it was just a bit impractical.
It's the problem with projects,
well. Because I got that around the time I started restoring this. So it was all getting a bit weird. But so I had that. I've had a couple of Transit Connects as well. Before I could even drive. Before I could drive, just to do them up and sell them on.
Good money in vans, eh?
Well, that's it. They always make money. So
especially if you can paint them.
That's it. So had a couple Connects, and then just the stock cars really, and then the Mark 4 Fiesta that we've got.
Is it a Mark 4?
It's got the sad sort of eyes.
My mistake.
The weird wee face, but so that's it now.
So what are the plans with that? I thought at first you were going to put it around the track.
Well, that's what it was meant for that. So my dad found that on Facebook, and then I ended up paying for it, and then it has MOT till March next year. I obviously just needed to tax it, and then I temporarily insured it to drive it home, and it like drives brilliant. It's actually a really good car. It's just the rust that lets it down. So I was thinking of maybe just putting it, a couple of arches on it, doing the sills, and then painting the full thing. Maybe doing the ZTEC S kit on it or something.
Yeah, they do look smart with that
They
kit
do
on.
look good. They do look good.
Set of 7 spokes or something as well.
They would be cool. So that was maybe the idea. But if not, then it will be going round the track.
So can you give us like more of an image of the Escort, like pre-restoration?
I have a picture of it in the car, if that helps. But basically, it had grey front bumper, grey back bumper. It had the grey strips going down the doors.
Yep.
It had plastic wheel trims that were like weird as anything. They were strange. It obviously didn't have the Recaro seats in it. It was pretty much all standard, really. The colour was the same. That is the original colour of the car, Bahama blue.
But maybe not quite as shiny.
No,
as
it
that.
was a bit more dull than that. But it was pretty much just base spec, really.
So in terms of like stuff you've actually done to it, obviously the painted bumpers, are the seats out of Mark 3 or something?
No, they're Mark 5
Really?
RS2000.
RS2000.
Yeah.
So my stunning Ford knowledge coming in.
So they were a straight swap right into that. Managed to get them for £200.
Really?
Aye.
Wow.
I think it was $290 delivered, and that was up on a courier.
Awesome.
So they're not the best, obviously. They've got a few rips and stuff, but £200 for a set of Recaros in this day and age is pretty cheap.
And it's lowered a little bit?
It is. It's lowered 55mm. I started with 35mm.
Not
and
enough.
then it didn't look like it changed.
It's got to be over 40 to make a difference, really.
So 55mm. It is a bit stiff, but it looks cool.
Is that shocks and springs, or is it coilovers?
No, just springs. And the standard shocks still. Probably could be doing a change like.
That's what I did with mine recently.
I was looking at the gas shocks and the coilovers.
Yeah, a bit pricey them.
They're like £700 odd. So
I was pricing them up for the Calibra a few weeks ago. They were like 1,200 quid.
Aye, they're pricey, like, but maybe in the future.
Have you got a favourite mod? If you had to choose one.
It's got to be the front bumper. That is a full kit. That is a full RS2000 kit with the skirts and the back bumper. But the front bumper completely changed the look of the car. It looks so much more angry and sporty now. So that's probably it. The front bumper.
Would you say, like, obviously you've got the Mark 8. Is this more of a weekend car, or do you daily it through summer? Nah,
I did a few days. I've took it out. Just took it to work and stuff.
Yeah,
it is more of a weekend car, but I do try and take it out every weekend and drive it as much as possible because I love the car. But again, with insurance, it was just too expensive to insure it every day. So even the temporary insurance, if you're doing that every single day, every week, it's going to add up.
Adds up.
Aye, so every weekend, pretty much.
I think that's where you can definitely see the difference between our two cars, because mine is very obviously a daily driver, and that's a little garage queen, I think.
Aye, pretty much.
Queen.
Container queen now. Aye.
Have you had any issues with the reliability of it, or like using it?
Nah, I actually haven't. I've been really lucky with this car. Just today, actually, we've had a bit of an issue getting it here. The battery's completely dead, so we've had to jump it off of the cab. But apart from that, nothing really. Obviously serviced it and stuff. We just done the brakes on it. But
made
nothing
a video
really.
about that.
Aye. But the tappets need adjusted on the engine.
Classic.
It's a bit ticky. But that was only after a 900-mile road trip in 2 days. So
which brings me on to my next question.
There we go.
Excellently. So you did the Cannonballs run recently.
Yeah, you've still got the sticker on it.
So can you tell us a bit about that? And like the rough route, where did it take you?
Oh my God, that was absolutely amazing. So just to get to the start line for us, it was about 5 hours. And we left at 4 a.m. for that, me and my girlfriend Amy. Then that started in Elgin. So Elgin Centre, really. It's not a city, is it? Elgin Town Centre. They have the massive Cannonballs Run banner sort of thing. You drive through that to start on the high street. There's like a decent crowd and stuff as well. So it feels pretty cool going through that. And then you're sort of off and you take a few stops throughout the day at cafes and stuff. We were always the last to get there with the 59 horsepower that the Escort's got. But no, you're just sort of doing the NC500 route with a bit added on with going to Elgin and stuff as well. But you take loads of stops throughout the day, so you get a good chance to chat to everybody. And then you stop on the first night in Ullapool. You have to get your own accommodation, but it's no expensive up there for a campsite, is it? So we ended up sleeping in the back. Funny story, I'll go into that. So me and Amy took a tent up, 4-man tent, plenty of room and all that.
Yep, you'd think so.
Went to set it up, put 2 pegs in each corner to keep it down. Sat in the driver's seat of the Escort for 2 seconds and it just flew away.
You're joking.
over the campsite fence. It just went. So that night we ended up sleeping in the back of the Escort, which we've done before. It's not that bad, but it's just a bit uncomfy. But it works.
So the tent finished the NC 500 before you did, probably.
It did. It probably did. It probably made it way back down. But
and it's a charity event, isn't it?
It is. It actually raises a lot of money for charity. There's a few charities that works for it. One of them is the Fan Trust.
Right.
So, your entry is £110. So that's to get you on the rally. You get the sticker kit, which you get numbers and stuff for the car. And then you obviously get your start in Elgin town and stuff.
Makes
so
you feel
that.
pretty exclusive.
It is pretty cool. Like, it's sort of a mini Gumball 3000,
kind of.
but
and for a good cause as
a
well.
bit less expensive, But it's a really cool experience. So it's really good.
Is that the furthest you've taken the car?
Any
other like big road
probably
trips
is,
you've done?
but every year, for the last couple of years, so not every year, couple of years, me and Amy have went down in our cars. She's got the K11 Mike.
Yeah.
We go down to the Lake District for Total Retro.
Yeah.
So that's a weekend show. It's not. It's like 3 hours down.
Kendall, I think it is.
Aye, it is. Aye. So it's not very far down.
Definitely try and make it to that next year.
It's a brilliant show, and the weather's usually decent for it. So
and the Lake District is a good drive
it's
as
a nice
well.
place. So that's probably the other furthest place it's been, really.
Any other kind of big trips planned? Do you reckon you'll do it Cannonballs again next year? Or
I think so. Maybe knowing that, because I got a few stone chips in the front.
Yeah, imagine the cringe every time you hear it.
The front of the side's got a chip now for the wheel, so I was a bit sad with that. But we'll find some cool old thing to take up with us next year. Because we were the youngest people with the oldest car, so it was pretty cool to have that.
Yeah.
We ended up winning coolest car.
Definitely stand out
on the trip as well. So
well deserved.
I will take something old up next year.
Awesome.
And
I'd like to the
K11. I'd like to go to Ireland next year as well for port car scene.
Yeah, I can see why. It's definitely a lot going on there.
And then maybe this is far fetched, but maybe the Nürburgring. That'd be funny. I always see videos of it. It does look good.
Yeah. It'd be cool to see it at some shows down south. You know,
that's it. I want to try and get more down south.
Players and clean scene and stuff.
There's a Goodwood Classic one as well, whatever that's called. I'd like to go there as well.
They're all basically the same thing, but worth going to.
I like how they get dressed up in that. I want to get in the old 50s suit. The Revival.
Yeah, Revival.
That's it. I want to go to that.
So, how long ago did you kind of get into YouTube? Is it something that's always like excited you?
Pretty much. For primary school, so it was P7 that I started posting my videos. Now these had nothing to do with cars. This is just me.
At what point did the cars?
The cars started probably about the same time that my dad started the racing, around that sort of time. But before that, it was just me. Then I actually had a long time of doing mountain bike videos.
Really,
I was really into that for a while.
I feel like every car guy takes the same path.
So I was actually getting all right out the mountain biking and stuff because I'd done that for years as well. So that was basically what my channel was focused on for a while.
Got you.
But then it switched to cars again. But the channel has been going ever since P7, so 2016.
So in terms of like people who have influenced you to start doing that, is there any channels that kind of stick out? Especially with the car stuff.
The car stuff, if we go to the car stuff, probably like when Alex Custom was at Car Throttle.
Early days Car Throttle.
Car Throttle was brilliant. Top Gear, obviously, that's not a YouTube channel, but that is influential.
Still media that you've taken.
For now as well, for inspiration, Matt Armstrong, what he's done is mental.
Yeah.
He's inspired all the other people.
I've listened to a couple of podcasts that he's done, and his journey is absolutely crazy.
And he's only been doing it 4 years.
Yeah, really not long.
Build all that up, so it's really inspiring, and it shows what can be done through doing all this stuff. So him, Jesse Collingham, do you know him? Nah, he's got like he's.
I really should.
He's just 100k, and he's been doing YouTube for years. And he's got like Civic Coupe and all that he's respayed and stuff. But now he's doing a trading up series.
All right.
So it's inspiring to watch. But he used to do AP3 content and all that. So I watched that back then.
Yeah, I bet teenage Aiden would have absolutely loved that.
Aye, but just loads of people. So many to name.
Yeah. Aye, but definitely, I think Car Throttle for everyone.
Car Throttle, aye.
Yeah, 2 guys, 1 car and stuff like that.
Aye.
So, obviously it was something that you'd wanted to do for a while, but with the car stuff, did you kind of just fall into that and get comfortable with it?
I did. I can't remember what the first sort of car video that was posted on my channel was.
Painting a Transit Connect, gone wrong.
But a lot of it was, I had a K11 Nissan Micra back then as well
Right.
for doing autograss racing, which is basically
Awesome.
stock cars but on dirt.
Yeah.
So I'd got the car, paid for it myself, and I didn't work with that obviously because I was younger.
Yep.
So I was quite proud of getting that, and then lockdown happened, so all the racing got cancelled. So I had that just sitting about in the driveway for a year or so. So that ended up just getting sold, and that's when my dad seen that we could do the stock car racing, and it wasn't budget friendly enough to do that. So the autograss car got sold. So it was around that sort of time because I'd done videos on that MX5 that we had and stuff. So around that sort of time, that's when that all started.
Awesome. Okay, so in terms of like your friends and family and your girlfriend as well, they're obviously quite supportive.
They are
of you.
supportive, really supportive. Because sometimes it does get a bit hard to do all the posting and stuff. I'm posting it every week, Wednesday at 6 p.m. So Ken, you've got to stick to the schedule.
You're very good at that.
It's
Me,
hard
not so
to
much.
keep consistent. But so it does get a bit hard sometimes. So it's good to have people around you that are keeping your spirits high and stuff about it.
Absolutely. It's good that you can kind of share it with them as well.
It's because every dinner on the Wednesday night, we usually have dinner about 6 o'clock. So me and my family sit down and watch the videos when they come out.
Brilliant.
So it's really nice.
That's good, especially with the older generation. I think it's, I don't know how old your parents are, but it's quite hard for them to understand what it is you're actually trying to achieve.
Even with some of the, like, with that, I've showed them a few of my Armstrong's videos and they just can't fathom what he's managed to do. And
it's a lot to take in, definitely.
Aye.
So in terms of like growth of the channel, you've just got a storage unit to keep the Escort in.
I have.
So has this kind of unlocked more potential to expand your content?
Definitely. So it's a storage container. I've got a bit in, it's in a yard. So
it's got electric. I think that's the main point to bear in mind.
It has lights and electric.
It's very handy.
I've got a space in a yard at the front, and so I can work outside the container and use all the electric and stuff. So I can do that. If I have the Escort parked to one side, I have enough room at one side to do stuff, because in my video changing the brakes, I had to do the passenger side inside the container because it was hailstones. So so it's really good. It's got one light bar at the front, and then one at the back, so it's well lit at night. And then we've got two sockets up the back and then two up the front, so it's really good.
Especially with the electric, you can get a wee heater and power tools and stuff like that.
A kettle as well for tea.
Makes such a difference. So with the storage container, is this coming off the road for winter, or do you think you keep it insured?
So this has been a running thing now. Before I'd done the brakes on it, it was meant to come off the road after I'd been to Crail for the last time this year. And then I'd done the brakes on it, and then I wanted to bed the brakes in, so I didn't take it off the road last week. And then this week we were filming this video and then the video for my channel as well, so I didn't take it off the road this week. So maybe next week.
Maybe. We can only hope.
Aye.
So is there any kind of big things over winter that you're going to sort with that now that you've got the container?
Well, there has been an engine that's come up on Facebook Marketplace. It's a RS2000 engine for a Mark 6, one of these.
Silver top?
I can't mind. I've only looked at it a couple of times, to be fair, but it's everything.
I can't remember what they're called. The 2 litre.
It's a 2 litre. But it's got the drive shafts, the wiring loom, the steering column for the key, obviously. Just everything's there. £1,500 for it. So please don't buy it if you've got an Escort.
This is a message from Aidan.
So it pretty much go right in that.
Yeah.
So I was looking at that because the engine is all right in that, but it's just really sluggish.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds good.
It does.
Doesn't really get you anywhere fast though.
It's not about speed with that thing, to be fair.
No,
absolutely. And I didn't really drive fast. I get called the granny out of my pals and stuff for my driving.
Yeah, you definitely strike me as a style over speed kind of person.
That's it. It's meant to be just cruised along, but that maybe an engine, and then I want to do a few things to the interior as well. With the RS2000 seats, the Recaros, I said they've got a few rips in them and stuff, so maybe get them restored. And I wanted to do like a blue tartan in the centre of them.
That'd be really cool.
Do the door cards a blue tartan as well.
It's all about the wee touches, eh?
Aye. Well, the whole interior's blue in that thing anyway. The dashboard's blue, everything's blue, so it would suit it. So maybe they things.
So a bit of a controversial one. You mentioned your pals there. The car scene these days, like, as we know, the retro cars are a bit thin on the ground. Are your pals into their older cars, or are they mostly new cars?
No, really. I've got a few pals that are properly into their cars. My mate Kieran, he's got a Toyota Aristo.
All right.
Big, massive bus thing, but he had an Integra before and stuff. So I've got a couple of pals that are into their cars, but nobody's really into this sort of thing.
Yeah, especially with it like, you know, TikTok and stuff like that, I think cars have become a bit of a trend. And do you think that these kind of, I hate to say it because it sounds like we're gatekeeping it, but like these kind of people that are in it just for the trend, do you think they kind of suck the life out of it for the genuine
It
enthusiasts?
depends. You get the people that just post videos, like they only have the car for the videos and stuff. But if you're genuinely enjoying the car, it's only you that can tell that you're enjoying the car.
Exactly. It's not for anyone else to judge, really.
Aye. So if you're enjoying your car, and I don't think it really matters, it just depends how they act and stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But like, I've not got many pals with the retro stuff. Obviously, Amy's got her Micra, so that's a 98, so that's pretty retro. But apart from that, no really. It's more modern stuff, eh?
That's the problem, eh? And you actually, you held your own event recently.
I did.
Rust and Retros?
Retros and Rust.
That's the one.
Other way about.
So the theme was obviously older cars.
It was.
How did it go? And was there anything that you kind of learnt from it?
I was totally blown away with how it went. It obviously took a good few months of prep, and it was really stressful to get. You're bringing the public, just random people that you don't know, to an event, and you have to make sure it's good. You don't want people to be bored there. So it was stressful setting it all up. But when the day came and I seen the cars coming in like 3 hours early and stuff for the show, it made everything worth it. We had a group for Air, we had Astra GSI, but the Mark 1 Mexico Escort, Sierra Cosworth and all that. It was really cool.
Awesome.
So
a really good turnout then.
We had about 60 cars or something in total. So we had that, we had the bouncy castle, snack van and stuff. I
didn't make it to this, I wish I had.
I know. But bouncy castle, snack van, we had my mum doing face painting for just a donation and the money was going to charity. We had Amy, she was there doing a cake stall and the profits for that went to charity as well.
Awesome.
So it was really worth it. And obviously I'm into my classic cars and retro stuff, so it was good to just look about.
Win across the board.
The only thing that was hard about it was picking the trophies. I had 5 trophies for this event, hoping to have more for next year.
I was going to say, is it something you're going to do again?
I would love to do
and anything that you'll change for next year?
I would like to stick with the venue for maybe like an every now and again show, but I'd like to go for a bigger venue for the main show next year. Maybe like an estate house or something, if they'd allow it.
That'd be awesome.
It's always hard to get something like that.
Especially when it comes to cars.
Aye.
Trying to rent some space, absolutely fine. As soon as you mention cars, it's over.
Obviously people get a bit spirited at the exits and stuff.
Yeah, which brings me on to my next question perfectly. So it's very refreshing to see life being breathed into the older cars, especially with people like us, younger, getting into them. Mm-hmm. Would you agree that we're better behaved than the car enthusiasts our age in newer cars with more power, they're faster, that kind of thing?
It really depends, because
I think it's so easy for us to get a bad reputation.
Because with that, I really didn't drive it mentally or that, because it's not really possible either.
Yeah.
Again, it's 59 horsepower. But nah, I'm not really into all that stuff, but I think it probably is maybe the modern car stuff, because it's got the power. It's got many of the assistants and stuff, ABS and that, so you can, if you're flying around the back road, you can go a bit faster.
Especially if you're a new driver with less experience, those aids are going to come in so handy. Whereas I think these really teach you how to drive. Really
raw driving, eh?
Yeah.
So I think most people that are into cars though do get a bad stick for like a certain group of people.
Definitely, yeah. Especially with car events these days. I think your event, and I can count like 2 or 3 other that, make the Cannonballs run as well, make a really good impression. But you get stuff like Cruise Irvin, the Livy meet, stuff like that, where, it's just disrupting.
Aye. A lot of the bad driving is quite promoted. And people can be encouraged by people standing about outside.
Especially if your pals are with you.
That's it. But, aye.
Especially, I think you see a lot of on YouTube stuff like Driver Dave and MSB and stuff like that. It's kind of promotes people our age to, jump in your Mark 8 ST line and like cut up in traffic and stuff like that. Aye. Which it
is entertaining, but keep it off the roads, really.
Agreed.
Go to
Take up the Crail.
Aye, go to Crail.
Okay, so moving into kind of the final questions I've got for you. They're more about you and the car. Have you got a favourite memory with the car?
It probably was the start of this year, April, once I'd fully built up the Escort, once it had been all painted and stuff. Took it out on the first drive, filmed the reveal video yet. Went out on a drive with Amy to Peebles, which is on the borders. So we went on a drive there, filmed the video and stuff. But it was just like a full circle moment.
Yeah.
And having the car fully finished, it was quite a proud moment as well.
When you're out and about in the car, obviously it shows you're going to get a lot of attention. I think the paintwork, the bodywork, everything kind of draws you to it. But when you're out and about in person, you know, you park it up at the shop or whatever, do you get a lot of attention from it?
I do. Not a lot, because a lot of people didn't actually ken what that car is.
No.
Because they weren't the most popular thing when they came out. It's actually named as the worst Escort produced.
What, the Mark 5, really?
So
I'd definitely say the Mark 6.
But so it does get a lot of attention. Most of it shows because it's mere car people that are there. But you get a lot of looks when you're driving past and stuff. And even the day when I was at that snack van, get my breakfast, I had a family come up and they were just asking about the car. And they were just having a look around it. So awesome. You get quite a bit.
So turning that completely on its head, what's your least favourite memory with the car?
So it's while restoring it again, like must have been December of last year, proper in the depth of it. It was when it was all cut up into pieces on that back arch back there. It was just sitting all rotten and stuff before it had the new metal put in. So it was quite a depressing sight to look at. And obviously it didn't have anything painted on it, so it's all just looked dull as anything. So that was quite sad.
Yeah, I suppose the only way from there is up though. Can't get much worse.
It is. Aye.
Do you think, obviously you had the Mark 8 Fiesta on the road first, you were driving that first. Going from that and then jumping into the Escort, do you think you learned more about driving? Do you think it helped you to understand the concept of driving?
Because these are much more rotted drivers we had said before.
Yeah.
So you've got no assistance around in, so you're really having to think more about what you're doing when you're driving.
Yeah, you've got no ABS, no traction
you're
control.
completely focused on it most of the time. So I've had a few close moments in that where people have pulled out when it's been raining, for a junction, and you have to slam the brakes and it just doesn't do anything. You just keep sliding. So that's one downside to the sort of old car thing. But I'd say it's more hard to jump into the Fiesta after driving that, because the Fiesta is so much easier to drive. It's really hard to brake and stuff.
Yeah.
You're mashing the brake pedal and you didn't need to see like that jumping forward.
I find the same, yeah. I jump in any new cars.
And obviously the steering as well, it's a lot lighter. That's got no power steering. So it's harder to drive the Fiesta after doing that.
And my final question for you, do you reckon this is kind of a forever car for you? Do you reckon you'll hold on to it?
I do. It's too sentimental now. I've had a couple of offers at car shows and stuff, people wanting to buy it. Even actually, where was I driving? I think it was Glasgow. A guy came alongside me in a van and offered me money right there while we were driving along the road. And then I had one come along the Forth Road Bridge before, just minding my own business, slow on the inside lane. This guy came past with his Porsche GT3 and all that, coming back from Knockhill or whatever, and they were asking about it as well.
Not bad.
So,
to be fair, if he's driving a GT3,
well,
it's worth 10 grand all day, I reckon.
So, you get the offers, but it's too sentimental. The amount of work that's went into it and the amount of joy I get driving it, it's too sentimental to ever sell, really.
So do you reckon in maybe 20, 30 years we'll see Aiden Jr. learning to drive in the Escort?
But it might have a bigger engine by then. A few more horsepower.
Definitely be a wee bit different. Full cage, rear-wheel drive swap.
It's just a track build now. But I think so. I'll be there forever.
Awesome.
Unless something drastic changes or it goes, the value rockets up to 100 grand.
You never know. It might be like a famous person's car or something like that.
Well, that could be it. So, but I think even at that, I'd probably just, even with, sorry to go on, but even with the Mark 8 Fiesta, that's obviously not sentimental, it being a newer car and not having to paint it on stuff. But I've thought about selling that, and then I get to it and I'm like, nah.
Too handy. It's just good to have a new car.
And I sort of have this thing where I think cars have feelings. And I think a lot of people relate to that. And I just feel bad for them if I was to sell them. I was like that with the Micra, but I had to let that go anyway. So
Cool. Well, I think that brings us to an end. All that's left to do is for me to thank Aiden for joining me.
No worries.
And probably do another one soon. I'm not sure who it will be with, but thanks for watching, and see you next time.
Subscribe to Jude.
And subscribe to Aiden.
Oh, thanks.
And also, I think we're going to film another video. So
there'll be a video of Jude Car on
Jude Car.
Jude Car, very good English. There'll be a video of Jude's car on my channel, so we're just going to film that now. So have a look at for that.
Cool. Goodbye.
Bye. Ken, what I was going to do today? I never had time to do it, but I was going to wear a full suit. Full three-piece suit.
That would have been brilliant. You should have done that. I would have put one
Oh.
on as well.